All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our special edition health class over the summer. Welcome to everyone joining us. For all of you that this is your first class with us, I want to welcome you. My name is Jordan Mittler, and we are here on behalf of the Mittler Senior Technology team to offer professional technology classes as we have been doing across the globe. I have a bunch of team members here with me who I want to introduce. I have Sarah Kalimi, Maya Puterman, Aryeh Goldstein, and Shane Gordon, who will all be, you will see, teaching parts of the class today. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping announcements. First of all, as I always like to begin our classes, I just want to recite our mission statement of what we strive on and what we have been doing and why we continue to run this program the way that we do it. It is the responsibility of the younger generation to educate seniors about technology. The goal of Mittler Senior Technology is to cure the issue of social isolation within senior communities and to help seniors feel connected with our new world of technology. Our personalized classes strive to educate seniors on how to communicate with friends and family in the manner in which the world is accustomed to today, and how to use technological tools to enhance and simplify their daily lives. We are very proud of our numbers. Over the past 5 years, we've educated over 2,000 seniors in 10 different countries, and we're now reaching more than 200 classes, and we hope these numbers will continue to grow as we continue to offer our professional programming. Last announcement here before we get started. For those of you that have not yet signed up to enroll in our full courses, this course that you're sitting through today is a standalone special class that we offer for free. But in order to keep our program up and running, we have our two most popular courses, Computer Basics and Advanced Computers, which cover all the fundamentals that you need to know with regard to using a computer or smartphone. And in order for us to be able to continue offering these classes for free and to continue growing and expanding, we charge a small fee for the basics class of only $5 a class, which totals $50 for the entire 10-lesson course. And the advanced computers class is $7.50 for each class, totaling $75 for the entire course. Both of these classes have been thoroughly enjoyed by seniors all across the globe. Once you purchase the class, you have access to it forever. It's a recorded class, one that you will have access to, and you can go back and rewatch lessons. It's a really, really awesome experience. I have the link at the bottom of the screen that you should go to sign up for one of these classes. I'll also put this up at the end of the class today. And for anyone that needs assistance getting started, or have any questions with this part of the program, I'll put my email up. You're welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to schedule a meeting with you and help you get started with these. We really want everyone that participates in our program to sign up for at least one of these classes. And we hope that you'll, after this class, consider doing that. But please reach out with any questions. I'm very responsive and happy to help you. All right, so today's class, the topic is health. We kind of left that a little vague in terms of what exactly we were covering, but here's the basic agenda. We're going to start by going through an app called HealthSync, which for those of you that have taken a class with us before with regard to health, this has been covered. I don't think we've taught this in a while, but for all our old timers, HealthSync is a really, really amazing app that allows you to manage a ton of different health information directly on your smartphones. Then we're going to look at the Apple Health app, which allows you to keep track of very simple things like how many steps you take every day, to your heart rate. And then we're going to finish just by a quick discussion about wearable technology and how you could use wearable technology to keep and maintain certain health records. That is the overall picture of today's class. Hopefully we can get through all of it. We're going to start out with HealthSync. So just a brief introduction. The way that Mittler Senior Technology kind of became introduced to HealthSync, we've been teaching HealthSync for about 3 years now. This is an app that was designed by someone named Jerry Kestenbaum, he was the CEO of Building Link. You guys know if you live in the city, when you walk into a building, you see that TV with like all the different packages and all the colors, or some of you have seen that before. So the person that designed that whole platform also designed this app, HealthSync, and reached out to me about offering this as a class to our seniors to help encourage people to download and use the app, and hopefully you'll see the advantages today, and consider downloading the app yourself. It's a free app, and we are gonna go through everything that we find is important with you today. So as always, before we actually get into it, I want to talk a little bit about like what exactly this app does, and also why I think it's worth spending class time going through it. So I'm going to have Shane go through a few of the bullet points that make HealthSync such a unique and important app.
Hi, everyone. So with HealthSync, you can manage your medications. That means that you can write down certain medications that you're taking currently and how long you'll be taking them for, and like things around that like area that you can do. You can also record and remember doctor's appointments so you don't forget when you're going to go to your doctor. So that way you have that information always available to you. So the next thing is you don't have to handwrite everything, and it's just like easier written prescription lists online on your phone. And like forgotten appointments or appointment dates, everything will just be there for you automatically. But again, you have to input the information, but it stays there in one place, nice and neat. And then you can maintain a list of all prescribed medications and supplements. So let's say I was taking Tylenol for a week as my doctor prescribed me to. I wouldn't have to remember what week of what month I took it in. I would already have it in my phone ready to show to any other doctor that would like to see that. It also works with prescription medications. You can input what information you need to input in order to remember what you were taking. And then it says it all right there, nice and neat. The whole point of HealthSync is to keep all your information regarding health in one place, nice and tidy, so you don't have handwritten notes everywhere and then you forget or something gets misplaced. It's all right there, nice and neat for you.
Perfect. So this will all make a lot more sense as we begin to open the app and actually explore it. But as Shane said, it's all about keeping everything in one place together. And as the world is evolving and as technology is evolving, your smartphones and computers are a great place to store all this information. Obviously, a lot of this stuff used to be done handwritten, and used to kind of have files and keep track of things. And this app just makes it all nice and playful and colorful. And I really think that, especially for those of you that take advantage of these sort of functionalities, I think you really will enjoy this. Also, like I said at the beginning, with regard to all apps, although they have kind of one central use, there are certain features that you might use more depending on what you use the health app for. So for example, you might not be taking so many medications, therefore you wouldn't use the app for that, but rather you would use the app to keep track of all your different appointments. So like I'm saying, you'll after hearing about the app today, sense what you think it will be most beneficial for you. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up my phone on the screen so you guys can actually see the app itself. We are going to start, as we usually do with these sort of apps, and just show you the downloading process, which is something that is actually applicable to most apps, as a whole. So we're going to go through now how to download the app. You're not looking at an iPhone, but the same sort of process applies on Android devices as well. All right, go ahead, Maya.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be showing you how you can download the HealthSync app. So the first step is you want to locate the App Store app. It is blue and it has an A on it for App Store. And the reason why we are downloading this app is because it doesn't come on your phone. It's a third-party app. So we have to download it from the App Store. So the first step is we're going to find the App Store app and we're going to click on the app. So once you click on the app, you'll be taken to this page, but we want to go to the search page. So you're going to look at the bottom right corner of your screen and you're going to look for the magnifying glass, which says search, and you want to tap that button. Now you'll be taken to the search page where you can search for your app. So on the top, you have this little search bar. and you want to click on that search bar. And then you want to type the name of the app. The name of the app is HealthSync. So you're going to type in the name of the app. And then you can click enter. You can click the search button. So you're going to scroll down and you're going to see the HealthSync app. So now Jordan already previously downloaded the app, so it says open. But for every one of you, it's going to say get, G-E-T. So you want to push the get button in order to download the app. And also, if you want more information about the app, you can click on the app and you'll be taken, you can see the reviews and more about what the app can do and pictures of the app as well. And once your app is downloaded, you can click on the open button. You can also find the app on your home screen as well. If you scroll, it'll usually download at the very end of your home screen, and it will look like an H and it has a little S in it.
Perfect. Thank you, Maya. So you can see the process is pretty simple. This process actually applies to all applications. So whether whether you're downloading Instagram or Facebook or any sort of other application, the process is the same. You're going to the App Store, you're typing in the name of the app, you're clicking on get. I would say 99% of apps are all free, or at least the ones that you would be using. So there's definitely no expenses. You should have to click on get. It will take a second to load. It might ask you for your password, and then it will usually appear at the end of your home screen. But as Maya said, I already have the app, so it's kind of in the middle for me. But once you download it, you're looking for that little white icon with that H and the S. It says HealthSync at the bottom. And to open it, you should want to click on it as it's as simple as that. And this app will stay on your home screen. So anytime you want to use it, it will be there for you. You don't have to do this downloading process every single time you want to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the HealthSync app. And the first thing you're going to see when you open up the app is this page that looks like this, where it welcomes you to the HealthSync app. You're welcome to click on that button at the bottom that says start a brief tour. It will take you through kind of all the different components. Lucky for you, you have us, so we're going to do that for you. But when you download this on your own, you're welcome to go through that. I'll show you what it looks like. It basically just explains all the different pages, but for today's class, that would be repetitive because we're about to do that with you. Once you reach the end, you'll see a page that looks like this, which says go to profile at the bottom of the screen. And for those of you that downloaded this app for the first time, you'll be asked to put in basic information the same way you would if you were signing up for an online shopping site or a social media site, where you'll be asked for information like your name and your email address, possibly your phone number, and something else that is common when you're getting an account on some sort of platform is they have to verify that the information you're putting in is actually yours. So when you put in your email address, what they typically would do would be send you an email with some sort of code, whether that be a 4 to 6 digit number code, and ask you to put that in, therefore showing to the app that this email is yours and you received the email that they sent. Same thing applies with like a phone number. If you put in your phone number, they might send you a text message with some sort of code and ask you to put that information in. So definitely be aware of that. That process should definitely not be too tricky, but rather it should be a quick open up the email or open up your text messages, and you should right away receive some sort of message from HealthSync. Once you do that, and you reach the and you've put in all your information, you'll be taken into the app. Now, since I have the app before, I actually have some information already in here, but from your perspective, this will look pretty blank. The first thing I want everyone to notice, and usually this is the first thing you should notice anytime you open up an app, is there are 4 buttons at the bottom of the screen. You always want to look at the bottom for that menu bar. And this is where you switch from page to page to look at all the different components of the app. We are going to go now left to right, starting with the current data page, which you could see here. I have a bunch of information built into the app already because I've taught this class before. But when you first download this app, it will be pretty blank, which is ideal, and it's totally fine. We are now going to go page by page and show you what the different components of the app is, starting with current data, which is the page where you'll have all the information that you could input into the app And I'm going to have Sarah now explain the first two components of this page.
Hi, okay. So what you first see here is you're going to see your name, and you're also going to see the date. Okay. So then now we have these two buttons here called measurements and medications. And this is just where you can store whatever you want and whatever you feel like is applicable to you and any information you want to keep. So on measurements, I'm just going to press this button over here, the add button. And we see the options blood pressure, blood sugar, and weight. So I'm going to click on weight. And then you can just put in whatever weight, which is, I don't know, like 120. And then it says the date that you put that in. And today's date is 7/31/2022. And the time, which is 11:48. And then you would just save your weight. And on the bottom, it stores everything that you put in and all of your past weights. And you could also do this with blood sugar, and you can input your blood sugar, which we're gonna input 60. And again, it has the date and the time that you've inputted this. And once you save it, it will store your blood sugar over here, and it will say the most recent. And then once you go back to the home screen, it will show you the last thing that you've inputted, which is your blood sugar and weight, blood sugar 60 and weight 120. And then we also have medications, which you want to do the same thing. You want to just press the add button. And of course, you could just put in whatever information that you want to, and you have to search a specific medicine name. So over here, we're just going to do Tylenol or something, yeah. And medicines with that name will start popping up, and you just choose whichever one you're taking. So we're just going to choose chewable. And then it asks you some questions about it, like the dosage or the frequency, and you just put in whatever you want. So the dosage is how much you're taking, and the frequency is how often you're taking it. Okay. And it has the start date and end date. The end date is when you stop taking this medication. And if you don't know when you're going to stop taking it, or if you're just continuously taking it, you press on it's ongoing. And then there's also something called note or history. And over there, you could just put in whatever extra information you want to write about it, which is maybe like why you're taking this medication or who gave it to you or any information you want about it. And then you would press OK. And you can see that it shows that on medications and it's saved. And then once the end date passes, the medicine will also be deleted and you won't see it anymore. But since this is ongoing, it'll stay there.
Perfect. So measurements medications are pretty simple in terms of how you input them. I would say that on the home page, which is that current data page at the bottom left, is where you always see the most present, the most related to you sort of information. So like Sarah said, for measurements, it will show the most recent inputs, right? Because your weight that you put in from 3 years ago is not too relevant right now. If you wanted to see all the information about the weight, you could go ahead and tap on that, and then you can go through all your recent history, which can go back to however long ago. You see how this information is from 2 years ago. And you'll see everything here, but on this homepage, they try to make it condensed for you and only put what's relevant at this time. The reason why I have 4 medications here is because for all of these, I put the end date as ongoing. Therefore, there is no end date. So they're all the app assumes that I'm still taking them. But if you were to put an end date, after that date, the medication would then disappear from from the homepage, but it will still be in that bigger history. Also, I want to point out that when you're inputting the information, whether it's for medications, measurements, or whatever it is, everything's optional, right? So if something like the dosage or frequency you aren't aware of, or that's not something that matters to you at this time, you can leave that section blank. There are certain things that are required. For example, the medicine name, that's something that you obviously need to put in. But there are categories that are optional. Obviously, if you don't have a note, you can leave that blank. So you could leave whatever fields you would like blank and just click on OK, and it would save it the way that it is. That's one of the things I like about this app, is that it gives you the options to do everything, but it doesn't require that. It allows you to kind of use this app the way that you want to use it. Let me go back to the current data page. There are 5 categories. We just went through the first 2, measurements and medications. The last 3 are symptoms, current diagnosed conditions, and appointments. I will point out that for today's lesson, we are going to skip symptoms because symptoms is not something that I think from past experience that has been beneficial. You'll see if I click on the little plus next to symptom, it basically allows you to put in information every time you have some sort of symptom or reaction, which from my experience, seniors haven't found too beneficial, just because it seems a little extra. But it is there if you want to explore. It allows you to select the intensity, symptom name, the date, and also add pictures, which is an optional category, but you could do that as well. The reason why, and we are going to get to this, all this information that you are putting in, you have the ability to then share with your doctor, which is really amazing, and not only your doctor, but share with anyone. So by putting the information into the app, just that sharing process goes a lot easier. But like I said, symptoms is something that if you want to explore, you can. It's not something we're going to spend too much time on today. All right, I'm now going to pass it over to Aryeh, who is going to go through the 2 final fields here: current diagnosed conditions and appointments, which, as you'll see, is very similar to the idea of inputting measurements and medications.
Okay, so this section provides a simple and easy way to keep track of your conditions that you've been diagnosed by your doctor with. And it also makes knowing what information you need to share with your doctor much easier. So the process of saving a new condition into the app goes like this. So first, you would press the little plus button next to the current diagnosed conditions spot. And then after that, tap on it. And then after that, you would fill in the information. So first, you would put in the name of your condition. So for example, if I was experiencing migraines, I would type in migraine at the top. And so you can type in whatever condition your doctor's diagnosed you with up there. And then moving down where you see initial date of diagnosis, you would put the date your doctor told you that you have this condition. So let's say it was today, the 31st of July, you would put in the 31st of July, 2022. And then moving on to the diagnosis code, that code is something that your doctor will tell you or email you when he tells you that you have the condition. So just as an example, he put those numbers. It can really be, the code isn't necessarily a 4-digit code. It can be any sort of code, but your doctor will tell you what it is. And then in the section that says treating health professional, you'll see that there is a little downward pointing arrow to the right of treating health professional. So you're going to press that arrow, and that arrow will show you a drop-down menu of all doctors and others that you put in your contacts. So essentially, you would press the arrow and select the name of the doctor who diagnosed you with the condition. But if you're following along with me in the app, or for those of you who aren't, since it's your first time using the app, you won't see the names of any doctors just yet. They'll only appear once you fill in their contacts in the contact section, which we're going to get to later. And lastly, in the note history section, You would put any notes that your doctor has given you or any notes that you would like to keep on this condition. And then once you're finished putting in this information, press the add button at the bottom. And then you'll see that this condition has been saved. So now moving on to the appointment section. This section is used as a calendar to sort of help you keep track of all your appointments related to healthcare. This is great because say you have a physical therapy appointment next week and you didn't even know you had it. You don't even know that you have it at all. The app will send you reminders. Hey, you have so-and-so appointment next week. And then becomes a lot easier for you because you don't really have to remember which appointments you have. The app will just tell you. So to create a new appointment, press the plus button to the right of appointments. And so now you're going to have to fill out the information. First, you would press on date, which is at the top of your screen. To select the date of your appointment, scroll through each section. So for example, say I had a checkup on the 16th of August, 2022. I would go to August 16th. So I would scroll through the months until I got to August. And then I would go to the number 16 of the days, and then 2022 for the year. And that's the date of my appointment. And then once I'm finished, when I want to save, I press the little done at the top right of the menu. Then moving on, you would press the time to input what time your appointment is. So say I had an appointment at noon on that day, I would go to the hours mark, go to the number 12. Then in the minutes, I would go to 0, then make sure I select PM. And then once I'm done with that, I'd press the done again. And then moving on to the location of your appointment. So to put that in, first you press the place key on the app. And then here you would type in the address of wherever your doctor is. Yeah, you just put in the address. That way you know where to go. And then once you're done, you just press save. And then lastly, for treating health professional, again, same as before, it would be a little drop-down menu with all of your doctors, nurses, healthcare people. And so depending on your appointment, you would press whatever doctor you're seeing that day. Of course, you won't see any right now because we haven't put in your doctors into the app yet. So you would select one of the doctors, and then once you're finished with this appointment, you would press add, and then the app would remind you with this information that you have an appointment on said and said day. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Aryeh. So you can see the process is not too tricky. Like I say about everything, I know I repeat this over and over again, but everything that we teach is pretty simple. It just takes practice in order to get to that stage where it feels comfortable. So you will, as you begin to use this app more often, and I hope that you all will, you'll begin to get the hang of clicking on the plus, putting in the information, adding it to your page. And like I said at the beginning, this homepage is customizable to what best fits what's important to you. So for example, after August 16th, this appointment will no longer appear on the homepage because it's no longer relevant to you, but rather your next appointment will be present. So this page is constantly changing. Also, there were a few questions in the chat that I think are worth answering live. The first question asks if this site is secure. First of all, it's an app, and apps are much more secure than online websites, because when you're dealing with a site on the internet, you're involving yourself with a bunch of different communication sites and people overseeing the platform. You're on a public worldwide website, versus when you're on your app, it's on your own device with your own connection. So definitely, this is an app that I would feel very, very comfortable putting in your information. This is also designed by someone who I know very well and has been very successful in everything that he's done. So this definitely goes into my. I would push the fact that this is a very secure and safe. With regard to the contacts that Aryeh mentioned. We are going to get to contacts in just a second, but the contacts here are different from the contacts you have in your phone, meaning if you have 300 contacts in your phone of all your family members and all those people, those will not automatically appear here in your contacts. Rather, this app is designed not for all those people, but rather just for medical contacts, emergency contacts, things like that. And we'll explain this a little further when we open up the contacts page individually. But yeah, so this app, another person asked, I would say cannot be hacked or cannot be reached that level of security. This is very secure, and I would feel very comfortable putting in this sort of information. If you have any questions about that further, I'm happy to address that. Okay, so we just went through kind of the entire panel here of your current data, where you're constantly just clicking on the plus, putting in different pieces of information. Next thing we are going to look at is the next button on going from left to right is report, which I think is one of the most important parts of this app. The idea of sharing the information that you have and you put into the app with your loved ones, your medical professionals, and your doctors. And as opposed to kind of inputting this manually or having to go see your doctor just to tell him or her pieces of information, you could do this all very simply using the app here. And it will send an email, it will send a message to the person that you would like. So I'm now going to have Shane go through how to share that information and how to distinguish between different pieces of information on the app that you want to share.
Hi, so in regards to the report, it's very important because it generates like a report like your doctor would almost make. They can send out to other people, as Jordan just mentioned, but you can choose the start date and the end date, so you don't have to share all your information if you don't want to. So let's say your doctor asks for a report of your health in the past 2 weeks. You can enter that from 2 weeks ago to today, or even from 2 years ago if you would like. So as the date says 2020 there to 2022, as you can see at the start date and end date, you can do that. But if you don't want to do an end date, I believe you're allowed to do that as well. Just like this app is very flexible, it moves with you. So that's very good. And then let's say you don't want to send everything you want. Like, let's say you don't want to send your measurements or medications, but you want to send your symptoms, diagnosed conditions, appointments, and doctors to whoever you would like to send this report to. You can do that as well by clicking on the items you do not want to send. So that way it filters out what you do want to send and what you don't want to send. So if you scroll down a little bit, it'll show you like what you're sending. So like, let's say you want to send your medications. It says current as of 7/31/2022. It says the medication you would like to share and all the medications you are currently taking as well. That way you can share the report. And then there's also other items which I mentioned before that you can select as well. But then you can share the report if you go down. And then you can choose the recipients just like you would do for an email. So you can enter their emails. So let's say I want to send it to my close family members, you can do that as well. If you would like to send it to your doctors, of course you can do that as well. You just have to have their email address. And you can send it to more than one person at one time. But again, I would also recommend sending it to yourself so you have a copy to make sure that you did send it out and the email did in fact work. Exactly, it says include my email. And then you can write notes if you would like right there. And let's say we would say, hi doctor, this is like the information that I would like to share with you that you asked for. That way they do know what you're in fact sending them and it's not some random email. And once you send, actually it'll show you a preview of the email and then you can press send. And then that way you know exactly what you would like to send. But of course it'll ask you to confirm the information, so you press send. And from there you send your email and then you can see that the health report has been sent. And yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Sorry for the echo. Well, one thing that's important for those of you that were at our last class 2 weeks ago when we spoke about online shopping, you might have remembered that term filter, which we discussed as narrowing down and getting rid of unnecessary pieces of information. So when you're shopping for apples, you would filter out the other search results such as apple juice and apple sauce, things like that. So with this app here, that's the same thing where you're getting rid of categories that your doctor is not interested in, but rather if he just wants medications, why would you also send him these unnecessary items? But rather the app makes it easy. Just click on it and you'll see the color will become slightly gray, indicating that it's not selected. And as you scroll down, you'll only see the information based on what you've selected. Now I'll actually just show you because I want to show you what the email looks like. I'm going to pull up the email here. Give me 1 second. And you'll see that here's the email that your doctor would send, right? So it will say from the app, hello, Jordan Mittler has shared their health report with you, right? Hi, doctor, see the attached information. That's the message that I put in. And as you scroll down, it explains what the date range is that we put in, as well as all the information that was included. So it's a very nice way of sharing information and makes the process a lot easier. And you could also always send yourself a copy, which is great because it gives you the ability to make sure the email was sent and also that it was sent the way that you want it to be sent. Okay. Sharing is something that I would hope you would do, because I think that's one of the reasons why you would put in information into the app, obviously for yourself, but also for others. I see a good question in the chat that if you're able to have multiple people's data stored in this app, right now I'm just adding information on my behalf. What if you have a spouse or a relative or a close friend that want you to see and keep track of their information? We will show you at the end. You can have multiple data sets of multiple people on the app and be able to manage multiple people. Someone asked about doctors that don't share their emails. The real only way to share a report is through email. So maybe they have a receptionist or someone that can get you that email. But yeah, I mean the only way to share an email report from the app is via email. So that's something that you need. All right, I'm going to go now to the third page. Some of you asked about this before, contacts, which is like we were saying before, the page that allows you to put in the name of your doctor into those into like the medications or into the appointment that you have. And as Aryeh was discussing earlier, you couldn't do that just yet because you don't have any names in there. But what we're going to show you now is how to put in names and also go through all the different categories here. So Aryeh, go ahead.
Okay, so this section is used to help store all the names and contact information about your doctor, as well as other people and sometimes places that you use in relation to your healthcare. So this is great because as a result of this, you no longer have to remember all of your healthcare places, information, all that stuff. It's all in this app, nice for you. And also, you can also use it in other places in the app. For example, in the appointments section that I mentioned before, once you fill out these contacts, you would simply select the doctor from the drop-down menu, and then you would know which doctor you were seeing at said appointment, as well as all of their information. So firstly, as you can see on the page, there are 4 different types of contacts: family, medical, insurance, and pharmacy. So firstly, I'll go one by one. The first contact we're going to fill out is a family contact. So to set up a family contact, follow these steps. Press on Add Contact to the right of Family Contacts. Then fill out the information as prompted. So say you're going to do it for your dad. So for contact name, you would put your father's name. And then you would type in their phone number. So if you don't know that, your father's probably in your phone contact, so you could just look there and take it from there and put it right in. And then you would fill in their email. So put in your dad's email. And then for relation, you would put in father because they're your father. And for any other family members, you would just fill that in. So if you're a mom, you would do your mom, uncle, like that. So next, to set up a medical contact, we have to get out of family and then go to Add Contact to the right of medical contact. So once you do that, you have to fill out the information similar to before. So for contact name, put your doctor's name, so Dr. X. And then for company practice, you would put the name of the hospital your doctor works at or the doctor's office, whatever the title of the building is. And then moving on for profession, you would put in whether we're a doctor, a nurse, something else, whatever they are. And then moving on for medical specialty, you would put in whatever the specific type of doctor they are. So an example would be a plastic surgeon. And then moving on, you would have both of their phone numbers. So their office phone number, which is the one that they use when they're actively working in the hospital, whatever. And then you would also put their cell phone number. So when they're off work, say you have an emergency or something comes up, you can call them there. Then moving on, you would put in their office address. So whatever the address of the building they're working at is. And then moving down, you would put in their email address. So whatever the email is for your doctor, same one that you use to for the report, same one as that. And then you would press save at the bottom to make sure it's locked in. Moving on, to set up an insurance contact. So this is so you don't have to remember whatever your insurance information is. You would press on add insurance to the right of insurance. Then for insurance name, you would put the title of your insurance company, whatever that is. And then moving on, for your plan name, then if you don't know it, your insurance most likely sent it to your email when you bought the plan, as along with details about your plan. So you would just put in the name of your plan. And then moving on for member ID and group ID, if you don't know that off the top of your head, which most people don't, you can look in your email of when you bought the plan, and it'll be a little code at the bottom of the email, and you would put that in here. And then lastly, for phone number, you would just put in the phone number of your insurance, whatever number you call to reach them. And then once again, when you're done, you press save. And then the last contact is not really a contact, it's more of a place. It's your pharmacy. So wherever you go to pick up medications, that kind of stuff. So to do that, you would press add pharmacy to the right of pharmacy. Once again, fill out the information as prompted. So the name of the pharmacy, so say CVS, you would put that in. And then moving on for address, you would put whatever the address is of your pharmacy. And then moving on, you would put the email of your pharmacy. You can easily find that online, just look it up. And then for the phone number, you would put in the phone number of the pharmacy. If you don't know that, you can look in your contacts, which is the little blue icon to the right of phone number. Or if not, you could always look it up. It's publicly available. And then once you're done with that, you would press save, and that's how contacts are saved and put into the app. Pretty simple.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, this is also a really helpful tool. Like what we're saying, this is different from your phone's contacts, but you have access to your phone contacts when you're adding in numbers. But this is meant to kind of condense that, as opposed to having 500 contacts of all your friends and etc. Here you can keep it nice and condensed on the ones that are crucial and relevant to your health. And now if you were to go back to current data after you added a medical contact, you will now see a list of all those contacts when you put in treating health professional, which is very helpful. A few questions in the chat. Someone asked about adding notes for an appointment that you're able to do. We explained that if you go to appointments and you add one, I guess you can't do that. Looks like that when you're putting in the place and treating health professional, you should be able to understand which appointment it is just from that. But yeah, that's not something that they have. They have it for medications and for the other items, but not for appointments. A lot of people are asking about other people accessing the information, like can your doctor access the information on the app? Can family members access information on the app? And yes, the answer to that is yes. Like I was saying before, we're going to show you that now. If you click on the button at the bottom right that says your profile, found at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see a page that looks like this, where from your perspective, it will obviously say your name. It will say your name's data set. And you should only have one right now, but you have the ability to do two things: to not only add multiple data sets of different people to be able to see that, but also add people to your data set so that people can view your information. And I'm going to pass over to Sarah now to explain a little bit about this.
Okay, so if you want people to see your information, you would just click on your data set and you should be the data owner of that. And you click on it. And then over here, you should see invite a new member. And when you click on this, then you can invite somebody, and then they would be able to see your data set. And then here, if you do this, you would put their first name and their last name and their email. And then when it says permission, you could either let them access your data set and change it and edit it, or you could just let them only read it and observe it. You could choose whatever you want. It depends on your preference and who you're adding. And then also at the bottom, it says that you can delete this data set, but we're not going to do that right now. And you can also add a new data set. And if you want to add a new data set, you would put their first, last name, and their email here. And then again, you could either let them to maintain this data, which is to edit it, or only to read it. And then once you do this, you would choose whatever you want. And for whoever does this, you would like, let's say if I wanted my parents to have a data set, I would make them get the app, and then they would invite me onto their data set. Yeah. And I would be able to access theirs.
I just ran a couple of things. I'm seeing some questions in the chat. You're able to create a data set for someone else and keep track of their data if you want. So for example, if I wanted to keep track of my parents' data, I'm able to create the app, I'm able to manage the account, I'm able to put in their information and give them viewing access if they want or not at all. And the same way vice versa. If they want to create the account and they want me to be able to see it, I could do that as well. People are asking if you could share certain pieces of information with someone, like if you only want your doctor to see certain pieces or you only want your family to see certain pieces, that you can't do through the data set. But when you're sharing a report, you have the ability to filter. So if you didn't want, your family member or so to see certain piece of information, I wouldn't give them access to the full data set, but I would share with them reports every time they want that certain piece of information. But you can't when you're creating a data set or adding a member, select certain piece of information for them to see. The only control you have is whether or not they have editing access or just viewing access. Okay, just a quick recap on this app, because we have reached pretty much all the different items you could do on here, starting with the bottom left, current data, the page where you put in your information, which ranges from measurements, medications, symptoms, current diagnosed conditions, and appointments. On the home screen here, it will show the most recent and relevant information. To view history and past put in information, you could just click on any of the items and you'll see the past information. On report, you have the ability to share information with doctors, family, and friends. You select the date range, select the items that you want to share, scroll down, verify that it looks correct, and click on share this report. And you have the ability to send the email to yourself as well, just to make sure it was sent correctly. In contacts is where you could store health-related contacts that are relevant to you, which ranges from family, medical, insurance, and pharmacy. The most important is medical, so that you could use the feature of locking in your doctor to the appointments and current diagnosed conditions section. And under your profile, you're able to keep track and manage the data sets and the people you have involved in each data set, which ranges depending on what you're using the app for. But you're able to have multiple data sets if you would like. Right now, I only have one, but you're able to do that very simply by clicking on add a new data set. Um, Someone asked about sharing data. If you want to share your data with someone, all you have to do is share the report with them, and they'll receive that information to their email. If you want to have a full data set, and you want that person to see all the information, they have to have the app on their device and be signed in as a viewer or as an editor, depending on what access you want to give them. There's two sharing ways, either through report or through adding them to your data set, and that really depends on what their purpose is and why you're sharing with them the information. Okay. In the last few minutes we have today, I want to go over a few pieces of information with the health app. For those of you that still have questions, feel free to continue to put them into the chat, and you also have I will put my email up at the end of the class today as well, if you want to if you would like to email with more questions. This is definitely a much shorter operation. Apple's Health app really makes it easy to access and organize your health information. What I think the biggest difference between the Apple Health app and HealthSync is that the Health app has a lot of information that is inputted automatically. For example, when you take steps throughout the day, that information is kept track automatically. It's not something that you will put in every single time you take a step. That would be ridiculous. But rather that's done automatically. You also, for example, like a heart rate, right? That's something that's done automatically. That's not something that could be done on HealthSync, but these pieces of information are done automatically. And also for those of you that use an iPhone and have like a wearable technology device, such as an Apple Watch, it works well when you have multiple devices under the same roof. So what we're going to do now is show you very briefly a few of the cool tricks with the Apple Health app. I'm going to pull it up on my phone now. Obviously, this app was made by Apple. Therefore, for those of you that don't have an iPhone, this app is not accessible on Androids, but there are very similar kind of replicas of this app. And the hope is to be able to finish this in the next couple minutes, so that we could end the class as normal at 12:30. So I'm going to now open the app here. This is an app that is downloaded with your phone when you purchase it. It's Health right over here. It's like a little white icon with the pink heart. And I'm going to click on Health. Here's what the page looks like. Once again, you want to bring your attention direct to the bottom of the screen. That's the first thing you should always do. We're going to look at the two pages here at the ends, summary and browse today. We are going to skip over sharing, because sharing is very similar to the HealthSync report function. So that's something that we're not going to go through today, but we're going to go through the pages on the left and right. So I'm going to have Shane now go through the summary page.
Hi, so when you see a summary, the first thing that you would see is favorites. Favorites is very important because it's certain items that you have selected that you would want to see constantly when you are in the health app. So as we see here, steps was selected as a favorite. So by today, Jordan has done 6,005 steps. Very good. And from there, you can go down and see trends, which are like automatically like things that the health app has recognized that you've been doing, because all of this, unlike HealthSync, is automatic. So your phone tracks this automatic, so you do not have to enter the information by yourself. Like HealthSync, you can just, like, for example, it doesn't track your steps, for example. It's just like things that you enter, like let's say appointments and stuff. But as we see here, the health app has recognized Jordan has been trending lower for 9 weeks in terms of the flights he has climbed. So usually he climbs 16 floors a week. But here, for the last 9 weeks, he's been climbing 6. So as you see, he did not input that information by himself. His phone or his other device, that, let's say, Wearable Technology, that is irrelevant as of right this second, but again, we'll explain. Like, let's say an Apple Watch or something, if you know what that is, if you have one, will track how many steps and how many flights you have climbed. So for 9 weeks, he's been trending lower. The next thing I would say is steps. It's highlights and stuff. It's like certain things that I would say like is important. Like just it's really similar to trends and stuff. like the steps a day and versus like now, then, etc. And then there's just like etc. things that are very important that you can explore on your own. The next thing that I would say is if you scroll down to the bottom, is there's certain articles and certain other like choices that you have if you want to enter information. That's very important. And then once you're done with this page, like you can go back up to the top and you can select show all health data. And then from there, you can see that you have all the information, not just certain information, like pieces of information that are relevant to you as of now. But let's say you want to see your resting energy or walking distance, whatever you prefer. You can see that all in one place, nice and neat right here. Again, this is all automatic information. I mean, you can input it manually, but again, it's not really used as much versus HealthSync, which is just like certain like things that you can put in to keep everything neat, like your medications and stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, so the summary page is something that will change based on the user, depending on what they use the app for. So for someone that cares more about their heart rate or their steps, you'll see that information towards the top, and the app will continue to change throughout the day based on things that you're doing, flights that you're climbing, runs that you're doing, walks that you're doing, and certain things that are surprising or unexpected. In order to see all the pieces of information and browse all the different categories, there's the browse button found at the bottom right of the screen, which if you tap on that, you have the ability to see a bunch more pieces of information. And I'm going to have Maya go through this now.
So the browse button, unlike the summary page, lets you see a lot more information, and you can also input information here. So in the summary page, we saw something called trends, which automatically inputted your information. But in the browse section, you have the option to input information yourself. For example, I'm going to show you how you can track how much caffeine you're having each day. So the first step is you're going to look for the nutrition button, which has a little green apple and 2 gray seeds inside of it. And you're going to click the nutrition button. And then if you look on the top, the second name on the list is caffeine. So you're going to click on caffeine. And you can use nutrition not only for tracking caffeine, but also for vitamin D, for calcium, or for other fats as well. And you can find this information on usually the nutrition label of your foods. So right now, since your phone has no way of knowing how much caffeine you drink, you have to input the data. So what you're going to do is on the top right corner, you see a blue button that says add data. You're going to click on that button. And now it automatically sets the date and time. And you can set how many milligrams of caffeine you have. For example, we can use the number 95 milligrams of caffeine. And we click add. And then we can see how much caffeine we had today. And we can also click the W for week, month, or M for month to see the overview of how much caffeine we've had over the week or over the month.
Thank you, Maya. So as Maya was explaining, there's a bunch of different categories on Browse, a lot more than they have on HealthSync, right? Sleeping, symptoms, nutrition, mindfulness, hearing. So, depending on what's important to you, you could definitely explore this and see what what is most beneficial to you. I would say that people who care about their health and use the smartphone to manage it, will find an app that best fits their needs. HealthSync, I believe, is a great starting ground, but some of you might prefer an app like this, which has similar functions, but definitely not all the same. This doesn't have the built-in appointments and contacts and the ability to share reports. It looks like they have a sharing functionality here, but that's a little slightly different than sharing a full report with your doctor via email. But this is an app that is accessible on iPhones, not on tablets or computers. And Android devices have similar functionalities and similar apps as well. HealthSync is an app you can download on any device. It's a third-party app, so you don't need to have an iPhone or have an Android to use the HealthSync app. Okay. I just want to mention very briefly that for those of you that have wearable technology, which are devices that goes on your wrist or on your neck, these are devices that could also keep track of health. There are items like that it could do, such as tracking your physical activity, store it to view the information later, and connect it to apps like the Apple Health app. It also is very nice because it gives you reminders. I get them all the time to stand and to walk, and it gives you those forms of motivation and encouragement. The slightly newer ones have heart monitors, which allows the device to keep track of your heart rate. And also what's really nice is it has an emergency SOS functionality, which if there's any sort of emergency, the device will has the ability to call 911 or call for help. This is something that is accessible on wearable technology devices, some of which the price ranges, but this is obviously something that you have to purchase separately. I would say the phone and the apps that we explained today could do most of what you would need. But for those of you that want to explore the wearable technology department, there are other options. We actually have a full class that we teach on wearable technology, which we hope to cover at some point next year. I just wanted to mention it briefly because wearable technology has a bunch of different health-related categories. Okay, before I let you go, and I know we are a bit over time today, but we did have a lot to get through. A few important announcements, and I would like everyone just to stay here just for a second, just so they could pay attention to these. First of all, this class was recorded, as we do with all our classes, and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel shortly after today's class. You will receive an email from me with the recording at some point this afternoon, so stay on the lookout for that. You could rewatch the class as much as you would like, it's helpful to have the recording because you could go back and follow the steps with us, pause the video, go back, and it's very nice to have that. Our next live class, the same way that we are here with you live today, will be on August 14th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The topic is transportation. Really interesting topic on how to use programs such as Uber and how to plan trips and all the different categories with regard to transportation. It's a class that is relatively new, and I really encourage everyone to make their best effort to be there August 14th at 11:30 a.m. It is once again a free class. All are welcome to attend. Please stay on the lookout. Every Tuesday afternoon, we send out a Tech Tip Tuesday on all our social media platforms, as well as our email list, WhatsApp chat, YouTube, etc. So stay on the lookout for those. We have amazing Tech Tip Tuesdays lined up for the next few weeks. And you could also go back and watch previous ones as well. Also, for those of you that don't and use social media, make sure to follow us. We are constantly posting information about promotions, upcoming classes, and other events there as well. As I mentioned at the beginning of the class today, the flagship portion of our program is our 10 lesson courses. If you have not yet gone through one of our two world famous courses, Computer Basics or Advanced Computers, you should spend 5 minutes today and sign up by going to the site portal.mittlerseniortech.com. You were in the email with the recording of today's class. You'll receive information about this as well. And I also have my email at the bottom where I'm happy to answer all questions with regard to getting started, signing up, etc. Some of you asked about signing up for these classes in the chat, which I wasn't able to answer live because it wasn't totally relevant to, and we did go a little bit over today. But if you have questions, please reach out via email. I strongly urge and encourage everyone to sign up for one of these classes. They are full 10 lesson courses that cover all the fundamentals that you need to know in the 21st century. If you feel that you're a strong beginner, Computer Basics is the way to go. If you think that you know a lot already, you could definitely start with Advanced Computers. I always encourage everyone to start with the basics because I think it does a very, very nice job at taking you from the ground level up. I want to thank Sarah, Maya, Aryeh, and Shane for being here and for teaching parts of the classes. Some of them, this is actually their first class, and we're working with our brand new team for offering programming next year. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please go to our site and sign up for our classes. That is the way that we continue to produce our free work And every couple of weeks is by offering these heavily reduced classes, computer basics and advanced computers, and I encourage you to sign up for those if you have not yet done so. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the class, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our transportation class, and stay on the lookout for more communications, emails, and messages about upcoming events. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.